Alright, so hopefully we don't lose the stream. Let me check that first. Hey, I'm only using 40% of my CPU. That's great. 34%. So let's see how this looks. Alright. Well, it didn't crash. Selanolol. Also, I love turtles. Good to know. So, welcome to another live sit and talk. I think we're going to start just doing these live from now on because it's so much more fun. Somebody's asking if I'm going to live stream StarCraft 2, and that would be fun, but I don't think that's really what this channel is all about, even though that'd be fun. So, and then Dishy Soy says, hi Matt, much nicer vid than the others. Yes, it's because now we're actually streaming HD. Now that we know we're going to be doing this more, we're starting to actually invest more time into figuring out how to do it even better. So this is a step in the right direction. Like I said before, this is not going to be the highest quality yet because I'm using the webcam mic. We actually have better microphones that we've been testing and using. And I don't have a bunch of stuff all set up for this. This is going to be very impromptu, like the sit and talks always are. I've got comments that are written out. Let me just move this around. So I'm going to view... There we go. Actually, 50%. That way I can see the chat at the same time. So with a sit and talk, the basic format of this, if you're not familiar with it, is that... hold on. Nothing's dropped. Nothing's dropped. We're looking good. Okay, good. Yeah, the camera changes a little bit when I move. That's actually the... doing auto stuff. So the format of the sit and talk, now that I'm actually concentrating, is normally what I do is I just respond to comments. But because we're doing this live, I'll actually respond to questions from the live chat. So right now I'm not going to be listening to questions yet. So anything. So hold on, we got a question, Gangrel. Why the false alarms on the sit and talks the last couple of days? What do you mean by false alarms, Gangrel? Were you notified that we were doing them? And then we weren't? So I'm not sure what you mean. We were doing some tests on our Vault one, just Vault live shows. Oh, I see, because email alerts. Huh. Do you mean emails from Justin.tv or Twitch.tv, or do you mean emails from us? Oh, okay, from Twitch. Yeah, we need to set up another test account where we can do all our testing. We were doing a ton of testing yesterday, so we were starting, stopping. So that probably was why. I didn't realize anybody was actually following our Vault channel yet, so that's why we were using that one to test. So sorry about that, but we will try to do that a little better. Unfortunately, we don't really have control over when Twitch sends out the notifications or not. It just does it automatically whenever we start a broadcast. So I'm going to be responding to some questions here, some comments there. Remember, the topics are anything we want, basically. It doesn't have to be specifically wargaming. I'm going to hide this because that's distracting me. And then I also want to show off some concept art for Dark Potential. We're very close to releasing the models. Every step seems to have a delay. Right now, they're being painted by Worthy Painting. They're looking good. Once we get them back, then we make the product packaging, package them up, and ship them out. So I'm really hoping to have them shipped out by the end of November, early December, so everybody can have them for Christmas. I know it's a lot later than the September release date that I was initially shooting for, but experience has taught me that that was an overly optimistic release date. So, like I said, I'll make a video one day where I go through all the things I've learned, but I want to get to the end where we actually release the miniatures because there's still things that I'm learning right now. So you can get the whole picture, right from concept to Indiegogo campaign to artists to sculptors to mold making to casting, all the way to production of the boxes, packaging, and shipping out. I want to teach you everything that I've learned because it was a community funded project. So I figured that the community should benefit from what I've learned from it. It just seems to make sense. Like, obviously I'm going to be making money by selling the stuff, or MiniWarGaming will be, but we can't forget where it all came from. So let's start looking at questions. Let's do a few questions first. So I'm going to start with the live participants. Looks like we got a bunch of people on right now. So just so you know, I'm going to leave the chat open for now. There's an option that I have to switch it to slow, which means that you can't post as often. But I'm going to leave it open, and if it gets too busy, then I'll slow it down. So go ahead if you have any questions for me about anything related to wargaming or our business, related to our personal lives, or whatever you want to do, go ahead and ask. So there's like a 3 or 4 second delay between me saying that you can ask and when you actually see. For Marjorie, when will the first Dark Potential tournament be? If you're talking about local tournament, then that'll be once we actually have enough people into the game. So I would hope within the next few months. If you're talking about, I don't know what else you'd be talking about besides local tournament. Alright, Silinilil says, how was using Kickstarter? Is it a simple site for other people trying to start their own games or other things as such? I didn't actually use Kickstarter, I used Indiegogo, but they're very similar from what I've seen. And it was pretty easy, pretty intuitive. It's a lot of work though. You have to put a lot of time into crafting it so that people want to actually contribute. So it was good though, it was very easy to use. Howling Wolf 1337 says, can you tell people making bat reps to check the volume? Because last time the cooler had a very silent one. Oh.
Yeah, we fixed that.
Yeah, he says he fixed that. So he got comments on that. Lavish Inferno, Matt, are the Tau or Imperial Guard getting new codex soon? I would guess Tau before Imperial Guard, but I don't actually know. Connor Strife, when will we see the first Dark Potential battle report, and how is the painting of your army coming along? Well, I'm going to be honest, I haven't been painting my army because I tried to, and I just realized I'm a bad painter, so I'm having somebody else paint it. So it's being painted, though. See? Hold on, let me see if you can see this. I'm going to just do it fast so he doesn't get a chance to focus. See, it's painted. And then I have the sniper painted as well, but he's not here. So it's actually Mike. He's sick today. The guy that you don't often see in videos because he doesn't make videos. He's the one that's painting them up for me because he's become a pretty good painter. Much better than I am, but that's not incredibly difficult. Alright, so the first Dark Potential battle report will be, well, it's not going to be a battle report as much as it will be more playtesting because we're going into beta very soon, the moment we have enough miniatures to test it. And so it'll be more like playtesting videos. It'll be battle report style probably, though. So I would say the next week or two, I would hope to see them. And Red Dragon, when will Worthy Painting's first vault show go up in the vault? I don't actually work on that. You have to ask Dave. I think they were having problems getting the video file, though, but I'm not sure. Evo Wood Haas says, do you want to take my test for me? It's biogeochemistry. My least favorite subjects in school were biology, geography, English, and chemistry. So all you have to do is make it a bio-geo-Ingla-chemistry. Although if I guess the test is in English, then I'll just, that kind of adds it in there. So no, I don't think so. Miso says, Matt, why not so many WFBR recently? Warhammer Fantasy battle reports. And what happened to the Chaos Warriors and Orcs and Goblins? I kind of explain this whenever people ask about that. We kind of play what we're challenged to. So we try to push, like for example, we just did a bunch of War Machine battle reports because a bunch of people were coming in for that. So you should see a bunch of War Machine. And it really comes down to that. It comes down to the players that we're up against. 40k Addict, when will you field your conquest in a bat rep? It should be done soon. So you should see it. I already answered those questions. I am now scrolling. So I'm sorry if I missed your comment. Here's a good one. Punisher 1. Matt, what do you think of Austin's mustache? It's been a piece of admiration amongst the Vault viewers. I think it is something epic. It's pretty awesome. It's got like a little curl and everything, so it's pretty manly. Zetechnon, I've been wanting to make a trip up there, but the internet is being surprisingly unhelpful on places to stay. Do you know anywhere nearby that would be good to stay for a week while I challenge you guys to various bat reps? There's a few hotels here. Like there's a Best Western not too far. Like if you're just looking to stay like in a hotel, then it shouldn't be hard to find either a Best Western. There's and if you want to go to Niagara Falls, which is 20 minutes away, there's tons of hotels there, obviously. So yeah, just the Best Western. That would be my thing. That's about 5 minutes away. White DN said, "LOL. For some reason, I just tried to rewind the video to see the miniature." Yeah, you're not used to live shows. All right. Have you had a chance to try Infinity? I know you're busy, but you did mention you were interested. I've been having requests for Infinity, so you can bet that once we're actually able to start another game, Infinity will probably be the one that we try. Gangrel, I'm behind on your bat reps, but overall, how do you feel Tyranids are in 6th now? Do you think spamming Psychic Powers is the best way to run them now? I don't find that they're any more difficult to play. I've been finding that the Biomancy Psychic Powers have been very, very powerful. You bring Turbogons, you bring the Broodlord, you bring the Hive Tyrant, and you upgrade your Turbogons to have 3 Psychic Powers each. You're getting Endurance, Iron Arm, like you're getting things like giving you Feel No Pain, It Will Not Die. You're getting plus D3 to your Strength and Toughness. At first, I was like, why would a Turbogon want to get Iron Arm? And then I played a game where like 3 of my Turbogons had Iron Arm. And for most of the game, they were at Toughness 8 or 9. And then you give them Crushing Claws, and then they do their smash attacks, and they're hitting that Strength 10, and it's just awesome, awesome, awesomeness. So I think the Tyranids are doing fine, but I haven't seen them in the tournament scene, and that's really where it gauges how they're doing competitively, not so much in our battle reports. Our battle reports are a little more casual than the tournament scene. Vishy Swass, have there been limited people challenging you guys recently? As I've noticed, there have been very few bat reps and even vids posted recently. Yeah, recently we've had a bit of a dry spell because actually it's been the opposite. That Dan and Owen particularly have been doing a lot of battle reports, but they haven't had a chance to edit them. It's like today, all they're doing is editing battle reports. So you should see more over the next week. Myself, personally, I haven't been doing battle reports because I've been working like mad on the Dark Potential stuff, but also on website stuff. I've been taking on a lot of other responsibilities, and that's slowing me down. And then Dave has been working really hard in these live shows and getting all the technical stuff, so he hasn't been doing as many. So yeah, there's been a bit of a slowdown, but that should only be temporary. Tada said, how good do you think the balance in 40k is? I hear so much bad talk, but other than that, flyer spam in some armies, I personally see no issues. I don't think I think there's major issues with the balance in 40k, but I think that it's more in the lines of the fact that, jeez, that was loud. I think it's more in the aspect. What was I talking about? Was that a pepper? No, that was an apple. He can't help it. It's part of his job description that he has to be in every video. Anyway, balance in 40k. That's what I was talking about. I think the issue is more in list building than in the units itself. And then there's issues with balance within a codex. Like for example, there's certain units in some codexes that you'll never take because there's always something that works better. So I don't think you can ever achieve true balance in a miniature wargame, but 40k kind of just doesn't try, it seems. Like I know that they do try, but at the same time, they focus more on their other strengths, which they do have other strengths, such as how awesome their models are and how fun the game is. The game is fun. But in the end, if you don't know what your opponent is bringing, and you try to bring an all-rounders list, then it can be a very unbalanced game, because there's just so many matchups that don't work. And so that's kind of I find that still in War Machine and Hordes too. It's just that with War Machine and Hordes, the players tend to be more knowledgeable of what your army could bring, and they could prepare accordingly, so you kind of get better matchups that way. But no game can be balanced when it's miniature wargaming. Only computer games can really do that, because they get data from tons of games that are going on, and can just change things real time rather than having to update a codex. Dave should be the new Iron Chef host, yeah. All the weight he lost, and now he's starting to eat so much. Actually, that was how he lost the weight. It's because you don't eat big meals, you eat several times throughout the day, so you never get super hungry. And that's how it's worked. It's actually worked pretty well for me too. I haven't lost as much weight as he has, but still, losing 25 pounds. Still something. Okay. Wow, we're getting lots of people on here. I think I've had this many before. How is Dave's new Chaos stuff coming along? It's actually coming along really well. He's got a lot of his own Chaos stuff being painted right now here in the office, and then he's got both Blue Table painting and Worthy painting and painting up more stuff. And both of them are pretty far along getting it done, and they're painting up different stuff. So he's going to have a massive Chaos army. It's pretty cool. And he's having a lot of fun with it too. So you should look forward to seeing him in more battle reports. Okay. I'm going to ask her a couple questions from the comments, so that you actually want to leave comments, so you know they might actually get answered. I'm going to try to find somebody who I haven't already talked to. Okay. Actually, Miso says, I'm sorry, that was a long pause, wasn't it? I just realized that. I was lost in thought. Could you keep doing your normal sit and talks? Because not everyone is able to make the live shows. Now, Miso, you're watching right now, so you can comment on this. And recordings of the live shows have you going off on all these crazy tangents the whole time. Like when posting some concept art that only the online people can see. See, now that's no longer an issue because now I'm using software where I can show you pictures. Let me give you an example. Okay, first off, I'm going to disappear, but you should still be able to hear me. Then I'm going to add an image. Let's see, which one do I want to show? Which one do I want to show? If you're looking at a black screen, it's normal, it's okay. It's supposed to be black. It's because I'm about to add something. Well, you know, alright. What do we want to see? Maybe something reclaimer-ish? Now, I kind of hesitate to show you this one because it's not the final concept art. There's certain things I don't like about it, but check this out. Alright. Now, let me just say this is early concept. I don't like the knives. I don't like the bolter-looking gun. In fact, but this is one of the concepts for the reclaimers. This is going to be the Aegis guard, I believe it is, or the drop guard. Hold on, let me check. No, it's the Aegis guard. These are the ones. I think the rules are in the rule book already. So if you're familiar with the rule book, then you can check it out. But basically, the shield is kind of uses dark potential stuff to basically create a field around the guy holding the shield that deflects away energy and matter. And so basically, normally if you shoot through something, here, let me switch out. If you shoot through a model, like you're not shooting at it, but he partially covers whatever you're shooting at, you get a -1 to your shot. But with these guys, if you shoot through them, you get a -4. So they help to shield their own guys. And I think in the rules, it's only enemies that get that. So when your own guys are firing, but it might actually be enemy. You know what? I can look at the rules. I've got the rules. It's funny, you think you would know your own rules, but that's actually hard because there's so many that you created. It'd be funny because somebody on this call probably knows more than I do about it. Alright. Aegis guard, distortion field generator. Okay, hold on. If a hostile unit attempts to fire past a unit with distortion field generators and would thus suffer units in the way penalty, they suffer. So it's only enemies. So you don't actually suffer it, so you can shield your own guys. So hold on, I'm going to see the comments after that. Pink lemonade. And Counter-Strike says, the idea is definitely there, but it does not look quite right alongside the other units. And I agree. And I think part of the reason it doesn't look right, if we go back to it, is first off, the knives and the gun doesn't look quite right. The guys are a little too bulky, and that's not quite right for the reclaimers. But at the same time, we don't have a lot of reclaimer stuff yet, so their look is going to evolve. And so this was more an early concept. I gave the concept artist, Miro, I told him basically the basic idea behind these guys, and he threw this together really fast. So he's quite talented to be able to do that. So there is an example, Miso, of why it's going to be okay that we do live shows. Excuse me. Okay. Unblockedpiratebay.com. Alright, Selenol. Don't put up links of pirated things. Alright? Otherwise I might have to give you a little slap there. Wrong link. Well, now we know what's on your computer. Okay. One more question from the comments, or one more question from here. Decimus, what does tabletop paint standard mean? Or does it vary person to person, meaning each person's standards vary? I am unclear on what this means. Tabletop does vary, because a lot of people don't quite understand the meaning behind tabletop. Really, what it boils down to is tabletop standard is when you stand back, you look at the model on the tabletop, so there's a model and it's right there, so you're about maybe 3 or 4 feet away, and it looks good. And so when you're this far away, you're not going to see details like the teeth, like the eyes. You're not going to see... Hey, turn off the audio. I want to hear myself. It throws me off. So when you're this far away, you're not going to see all those little details. I see people say, Yeah, these are just tabletop, but when you look closely, they got like pupils in the eyes, they've got the teeth, and they got the lips, they've got little details. As soon as you start adding those details, it's above tabletop. Now, whether you can paint well doesn't mean necessarily that the paint standard is higher, because you could actually have really, really bad details. But if you're painting to a tabletop standard, you set it down, it looks good from this distance. That's what it means. Okay? So obviously, there's going to be a variety of levels of quality that will qualify as that. So, but that's what it means. The tabletop standard. So it's on the table, looks good. I try to paint my stuff to tabletop standard. I don't tend to go higher than that. First off, because I'm not very good at it, and second, because I have no patience for it. Turn it. All right. Okay. All right, let's take another question from the audience. Live audience, go ahead. Hey, what the heck? I just saw something in. You can't sneak up on somebody who's looking into the camera and sees everything that's going on in the camera. Turn off the audio. Okay. Miso says, don't you lose some ad revenues for the live shows? Probably not, because we still post the recording, and that gets ad revenue. And eventually, once we start getting enough views on our live shows, we can apply and become a partner with Justin.tv, and then those ads that you see, we actually get a portion of. So, but we're not too worried about that, especially the Vault shows. The ads, we wish that there were no ads on the Vault ones, but we don't have any control over that. So, anyway, the live shows are more about adding kind of more personality to. Now I'm getting paranoid and looking behind me. All right. All right, any other questions from the live audience before I go to another question from the comments? I gotta wait like 3 seconds because you didn't even hear it. Okay. All right, here's a few. So Technon, what Forge World models do you have for your NIDs, and would you like any ones to add to your army? I've got the Hierophant and I got 2 Hierophants and a Hero Duel. Hierophants I like. I've got 2 Hero Duels and 1 Hierophant. Yeah, that's it. I don't like the Hierophant. It's ugly. It's just, I don't know who designed it, but it's a big cockroach looking thing. I don't know. I don't actually, if you're maybe surprised by this, but I don't actually like the look of the Tyranids. I think they kind of look silly. I like the Zerg better than what they did with that. I know they basically ripped off the Tyranids. I understand that. But they did it better, really, what it comes down to. Like the Hormagaunts are cool, but even them, they got like the teeth thing that looks like them. I've gotten used to them, so now I enjoy them. I enjoy the horde on the table, but it's just, I don't know. That's not quite right. I love their fluff. I love the lore behind them. That's done better than the Zerg. I don't like the Zerg lore over the Tyranid lore. The Zerg lore are too human. They're too easy to make afraid of you, whereas the Tyranids, they can't be afraid of you, so that makes them even more horrifying. Okay. Whoa. Why does this thing keep going out of focus? Maybe I should just set the focus. All right. Adri210, hey Matt, which army would you like to see get a new codex next? I think the Tau could use one, because so much of their stuff is just irrelevant now. Imperial Guard maybe, but they're not too bad. I know that they're not necessarily balanced right now, but more for interesting stuff. I don't know, probably an Orcs. Orcs could use one, because they're so limited in what you can do with them right now. It's like 2 ways to play them, like hordes or lots of vehicles. That's what it seems, at least. I'm sure there's other ways to play them too, but the common ones. Eldar? Yeah, I guess Eldar. Vince Pham said Eldar. Okay, you know what? This camera is driving me crazy. I'm going to stop it from autofocusing. No more autofocus. Okay, that's off. Stupid. Made it autofocus. So yeah, it's probably some of those. How else would I say? 40K Addict, so I hear you're looking for an assistant. How many days a week is this for? It's not actually an assistant. It's somebody who posts content and takes care of purchasing for the warehouse and all that. It's going to be about 20 hours a week, and I think we already have somebody. But the applications are still open. You have to work in the office, though. Helen Wolf says, Black Templar are the oldest without an update. Yeah, I understand, but there's plenty of Space Marine stuff. So, I don't know. I don't think they should have all the different Space Marine codexes. I think they should have a massive Space Marine codex and have the options for the different chapters in there. So, Lavish Inferno 115. Can you tell us more about the salvagers? So, why don't you ask me more specifically what you want to know about the salvagers? Are you talking about the models or the lore? So, I'll let you post that and we'll come back to it. So, I would love to see some. Drewski says, "I would love to see some Black Templar banter bat reps. That would be great if we had people that play Black Templar here." For Marjorie, there is such little Space Marine content on MiniWarGaming. It's strange compared to that 50% of 40k players use them. I know. It's because nobody in the office really cares for them except Dave and his Blood Angels. Everybody else likes the Xenos. We like the Tyranids and the Necrons and the Orcs and the Tau, all that stuff. We have a lot of fun with that. I don't think I'd mind having a Space Marine army. It might be something. Not Grey Knights, though. I've never liked Grey Knights. It's just, I don't know, they seem too cheesy. I know I played Necrons, but I didn't realize when I bought Necrons how powerful they were. I bought them because they'd be easy to paint. That's honestly what it came down to. So, alright. There we go. So, where is the lore? So, Lavish Inferno says the lore of the Salvagers. Okay, so a basic breakdown of the lore of the Salvagers. There's still a lot to be developed here, just so you know. But the basic concept behind them is that they were programmed to be kind of like a recycling plant, a salvaging plant. So what you do is you can just drop off any materials, and they have schematics, and so they have all their robots and stuff that basically break down things and create new things. So it's a recycling plant of sorts, or salvaging plant of sorts. And there was this big company that basically patented this idea. They used the Haussmann gene, which is the AI for some of the stuff, but a lot of it actually doesn't use the Haussmann AI because it didn't need interaction. Not every robot needs interaction with humans. The Haussmann gene, just for those of you that don't know, is basically, it's a computer algorithm combined with some specific hardware created specifically to mimic intelligence. And I don't just mean like artificial intelligence where, it has a set of rules and all that, but literally kind of a brain-like hardware that can learn like the human brain. Doesn't give them sentience or anything like that. They don't want to conquer the world and destroy everybody. That's nothing like that. It's just kind of more real science AI. And so the only programs in these factories that would have it are the ones that humans need to interact with. Everything else doesn't need that. So they have their own AI. Because AI falls under those two kind of things. It falls under the artificial intelligence where it's making decisions. So technically, artificial intelligence is in a lot of things, even in Windows and programs that you use. Anytime it makes a decision based on information, that's classified as intelligent. That's kind of what we do. That doesn't mean it's sentient, and it doesn't mean it's smart. It just means it has intelligence. But often when people think artificial intelligence, what they're really thinking about is mimicking human emotions and human desires and human behaviors. And that's not what the Haussmann gene does. It's partly what it does. Haussmann gene because it was named after the guy who invented it, Dr. Friedrich Haussmann, a German. Of course, it was a German who did it because they're super smart. They really are. Anyway, so the Haussmann gene allows a program, or it's the hardware interface that allows you to communicate with the program like a human, and it understands you and it learns from you and it understands the program and learns from the program. So it's kind of like that interface in between something that has all the information and the person that talks to it. So the only thing that has Haussmann genes, everybody keeps thinking that all the salvagers have the Haussmann gene, but they don't, because only the ones that interact with humans need it. So anyways, these salvaging plants work great, but because their main central core was based off of the Haussmann gene, there's some weird anomalies that would occur before the war. This is something that they would notice, because you leave these brains learning long enough and they start to diverge from what you would expect, because it's really hard to calculate. It's kind of like you never know where an electron is. You can only give a probability of where it is. Well, with computer programs the way they are right now, you can carefully calculate exactly what's going to happen if they're given a certain set of data. Well, with the Haussmann gene and the hardware associated with it, it acts more like a brain, where you give it to it and it tries to find the best fit, and it can do a number of things, and it's not fully predictable. Like it's kind of like where the electron is. You never know where it is. You can only give a probability of where it is. Well, the same thing with the programming of the Haussmann gene. You can never know what it will do. You can only give a probability of what it will do. And so the longer it runs, the more that diverges from any probabilities you could have predicted at the beginning. So what that creates is, it creates errors, it creates problems if you leave things running for too long. And so what they found is that they would have to routinely kind of maintain the central salvaging units, the ones that would take, because they were doing some major thinking. basically they were given a very difficult problem. Here's a set of schematics. It's a rather large set of schematics of things that we would like built. And here's random products. They could be anything, and you can have a new one every day because there's new garbage, there's new things being scrapped. You can go from having just household junk to full vehicles to here's a starship that's no longer in use, tear it down and make toasters and microwaves and whatever they were instructed to make. And so they had to have a very sophisticated Haussmann gene in there to kind of figure out how they would do that. So over time it would learn how to do that, but it would also learn how to adapt its own robots and stuff in the factories to do a better job of it. And so after a while, sometimes they have these anomalies where they weren't acting quite properly. Not that they became hostile or anything like that. They didn't try to take over the world. But they'd have to routinely go in there, clean out the brain, and do some very sophisticated stuff where they basically kept all the good learning and they flushed out the rest. And then so it could still maintain the old stuff that it learned. So this is what they found. So it creates some interesting backstories for it as well before the war even happened. So then Xanthos invade. 99.9999% of humanity is wiped out. Nobody's left to maintain these facilities, and they're all over the world. And they're not necessarily linked. Like, they are linked, but they're not. Kind of like how the internet links everything together, but it's not technically linking everything together. It's just that we all access the same satellites and all of that. So it's not like this is one big salvaging plant over the entire world that's going to take over the world. It's not like that. They each are on their own CSU. They each learn from each other, but it has to, like, the scientists and the workers have to, like, kind of transplant some of that knowledge. So different data centers, different things that they're salvaging and all of that. Different climates, different things they have to adapt to. So they were left on their own. Nobody's maintaining them anymore because there's no humans around, but they weren't shut off because who would have thought to shut it off as this virus is sweeping through? Like, who cares about turning off your factory before you leave? And they're running on very high efficiency dark fusion reactors because that's just normal in the future. So they continue having power for a while, so they just continue performing their function. But the problem is they're left for years and years and years and years and years. And so, like before, these anomalies would start creeping up and they would start to malfunction, or they would start to think differently about what they need to do. So essentially what happened is they ran out of things to salvage, and so, leaving that for long enough without anything to salvage, they started to think, well, we need to go outside to find stuff to salvage. And so they started to leave the facilities and go after tech and bring it back to make whatever it is that they were supposed to make. And then what they're supposed to make changes and morphs over time. So basically what you end up with in the end is a group of robots, and each group is run differently. They're not all linked together. It's not one big faction. So you can kind of create your salvagers once you have to go do it. You can make your own lore and your own background, kind of like your own chapter of Space Marines, except that these could be anything. They could be hostile towards humans, or they could work with humans because the programming says, hey, we found some humans. In the past, it's been good to work with humans. And the other ones will be like, hey, we found humans, but humans are destroying us, so we need to defend ourselves. But so it's just, all these different things can evolve from that. So they go out looking for scrap. They've developed defensive technology to keep themselves alive and to continue fulfilling their function, which has changed because they've been running for so long. So how's that for an answer? Of course, I like mixed with Mana says, today we shall go out to kill a planet to make toasters. So yeah, that's just the thing. It's their motivation is completely different than anything that you would normally see with like Terminators or the Borg. It's not like we must go and conquer the universe. It's like they don't care. They really couldn't care less about you. If you get in the way and you start to hurt them and they have previous programming that says this is what we do, then they might attack you. But other than that, like if you see a salvager, you have to be cautious, but you don't necessarily have to you don't have to worry about them all of a sudden just attacking you. So although unless they have all their experience as humans always attacking them, in which case they might attack you on sight. Darkale, that fluff sounds a lot like Fallout. Which part of the fluff? You mean the post-apocalyptic part with nobody there? Because other than that, I'm not sure what you're referring to. Shredrig. Let's hope these robots meet MiniWarGamers first. Good first impression for humans. Alright. Okay, let's move on. W. Rim, or Rim, said, which is your favorite piece of Warhammer 40k fluff? I don't actually read any of the books, so I'm only going to be basing this off of like fluff and codexes that I've written, or read. I haven't written any. I'm not that mad. Well, I told you I love the Tyranid lore. I think they did it really well. So, like, incredibly well. That's the way I would like the Tyranids to be. Space Marines are okay. I don't like the Imperium. They're not good. They're actually not good at all. Tau are okay. They're kind of boring. Yeah, I think the Tyranids are my favorite. Orcs are kind of fun too. There's kind of I like how they kind of put this funny race in there. It's just like doesn't make sense, but it does because it doesn't, and they've made a reason that it makes sense, and they totally get away with it because their universe is so fantasy. Like it's just doesn't. None of it makes sense. This is 40,000 years in the future, and you haven't gone beyond making things with treads. Like, come on, humanity! You've probably done something better than that by then. But it's okay because it's 40K. It's just fantasy in space, and I think that's a cool concept that they've managed to really pull off. It's not my favorite kind of setting for science fiction, but I think it's pretty unique. So, all right. Somebody asked about. I missed it. Oh, here we are. Mad Cow Crazy. What about female miniatures? Do you have plans to make any? We actually do already. We have a female trooper in one of the groups, and then I have a female variant to the commander. It's not released yet, but it will be. And then yeah, so there'll be females. And the Xanthos, you don't even know which ones are male and female. I don't even know which ones are male and female. Okay. Emperors keep humanity down. Alright, Gangrel 767. Matt, is Dark Potential going to be a casually balanced game or competitively balanced game? In other words, balanced like 40K? Also, are you doing outside playtesting or only in-house? My goal is to make it competitively balanced, but I'm realizing that's not always possible unless you keep your game very simple. So I'm going to try to keep it as competitive as possible. So I'm going to try not to make the mistakes that 40K does. So we got Fromagerie. What happened to that cool piece of terrain in the giant air battle? Haven't done it yet. Just got to get to that. Dark Ale, you will get to borrow armies for Blue Table Painting, right? Will you get all the different armies and do bat reps with them? You know, maybe eventually. It just depends what they have for sale. Because basically they have secondhand armies or trade-ins, and they're trying to sell those in their store. And so they send us some, and we play with them just to kind of show that. It's good advertising for them. Desmond Dentresi, I still want to see the Assassin, or have I missed it? The Xanthos Assassin? Yeah, he's created. He's not painted yet, but.
Well, I want to have one.
You have a painted one?
No.
No, I want a painted one.
Quick, paint myself.
Rich9517, do you think that when your strength goes over 10, it should have some modifiers in some way, such as each point over lowers the AP? You talking about 40K? In that case, not really. I think 10's a good max. Okay. Mad Cow Crazy. This is a good question. Any opinion on this whole Maelstrom debacle, and now the rumors of Blue Table Painting going out of business? I'm going to be very careful in what I say because I don't have all the facts. The Maelstrom thing, all I know is what they posted on their website, which obviously is one part of the story, so I'm not sure if it represents everything. Basically, that they had a debt of about £100,000 to a company that got bought out by Wayland Games, and Wayland Games then demanded them pay the debt in full, which they didn't have the money for, and so they put them into liquidation, put them out of business, basically. Which is pretty crazy. If that's the whole story, then that's too bad. Because they were paying back the previous company at a rate that would take about 9 or 10 months, which isn't too bad when you compare that. In a business life, 9 or 10 months is not too long. So, I can't say anything beyond that, though. I'm not going to say anything bad about Wayland Games because I don't know the full story. That's all I know. So what do I think about it? That's what I think about it. That there's probably more details that we don't have. There always are. Especially when you go on somebody's website and something bad like that just happened to them, you can bet that what they wrote is going to not be the kindest thing towards the company that did it to them. But if it is true, then it's really unfortunate. As for the Blue Table Painting going in out of business thing, that's rumor. I've seen the comments, I've seen the posts, but I've also been in contact with Sean, and I've talked to him and everything else, and he's not slowly going out of business. So just because they don't always have tons of cash on hand doesn't mean that you're going out of business. It's a fine balance. I've found this with our business. Like, you could say that we're slowly going out of business because we had bought too much inventory and now we need to liquidate it. Just because you go through a tight time when you don't have a lot of cash on hand as a business does not mean you're going out of business. It just means you have to do something to reverse that. So no, they're quite healthy. They're doing well. They are growing. And sometimes when you grow, you hit times that make it a little less comfortable than others. You have to do that. So it's not as simple as personal finances. So, that's what I think about the whole debacle. So I don't have all the details, though, I will admit. I only have what I've found and what people have told me. But I do know, I talked to Sean. We were over there in Valhalla, and he was very open about his business with us, and we were very open to him with ours. And he's doing great. Blue Table Painting is thriving, and they're growing, and you're going to see them continue to grow. All right. Sabandarius, which Chaos God do you like the most, lore-wise? Lore-wise, well, visual-wise, I think I like Zinch, just because of the cool coloring and stuff. Maybe, I don't know. I don't actually know a lot about the 4 Chaos Gods or the 5 Chaos Gods, whatever it is. No, I don't. When I say whatever, there's that old 5th one that they no longer talk about. I don't know. I don't actually care too much about the Chaos stuff. All right. Light Stripes 100. Would you start a Tau army if they were to be updated? I would if Owen and Dan didn't already have armies. But considering that we need to show as many armies as possible, we try not to duplicate. All right. Sobe Fett said, well said, Matt. Well, thank you. Like a lot of people, the problem is a lot of customers, and this is not an insult, so don't take it that way. Customers often know nothing about business. Is really what it comes down to. And I can say that because it's taken me years, several years of running a business to figure out what it means to be running a business. Just things like how to look at your books, understanding the difference between cash flow and between profitability, solvency, insolvency, all that kind of stuff. There's so much to learn that can look certain ways, and then their PR side can completely give you a different face than what you actually have. Like, I think Games Workshop is not as evil as everybody thinks they are, but they're not that great at PR, and that unfortunately gives them a bad face. So things like that. Mad Cow Crazy, there are 3 parts to the story about Maelstrom. Maelstrom claims Wayland forced them into liquidation. Wayland claims Maelstrom were jeopardizing the stability of the market by bringing down a supplier. Simple Miniatures claim Maelstrom wasn't paying the debt. Maelstrom had over 500,000 pounds in debt, by the way. Wayland only bought the debt to one supplier. Okay, so there's some more information. Unfortunately, I can't say if that's accurate information because it's just what I read from the comments. Nothing against you, Mad Cow Crazy. It's just that, obviously, that kind of stuff we would want to verify from the source. So if you want to look into it, start doing your Google searches, but just realize that it's going to be a lot of hearsay. All right. Gangrel 767. Deep Space Nine and Voyager were both great. Very different shows. I wonder if that has to do with somebody else asking a question. I love Star Trek. I don't like the latest season thing or the series, the Star Trek Enterprise. That was horrible, absolutely garbage. But all the other ones I really liked, except the first one, because I wasn't old enough to appreciate the old, special effects and humor and all that kind of stuff. Mixed with Madness, the new rulebook for 40k has been out for a while now. What are your thoughts about it? I like it. I think it's fun. I like a lot of what they added. They did a horrible job making it make sense. There was a lot of ambiguities in it. The FAQ cleared up some, created new ones. But overall, I think they had the right formula for the game. If just they wrote the rules in such a way that you could understand them, then that would help. And that's kind of mean. That's not completely what I think. I mean, when I say that, I mean like there's lots of different areas in there where it's just kind of like, we got to make a house rule to make this make sense. So it's just too bad it wasn't more polished that way. Other than that, it was great. All right. 5 of None said, War Machine, would you use node jacks or heavy jacks? Well, I play Khador, so the only node jack that I have would be with the Old Witch, so I would say heavy jacks. If I were playing another army like Crix, I'd probably try out node jacks a lot just to get the spells up. A node jack basically is, I'm assuming this is what you're talking about, is a jack with a node arc, or an arc node, sorry, which basically means that a caster can cast a spell from it, and so it basically extends the range of your spells. Alright, Vince Fam, Enterprise was so bad. I know, like what were they thinking? The actors were horrible, the script writing was horrible, they didn't finish the story, like, come on, the last episode was horrible. I watched all 4 seasons because, what else was there to watch? From Audrey, what is your opinion on the new Star Wars announcements? What Star Wars announcements are you referring to? I know, that means I'm less of a geek for not knowing.
Disney bought Lucasfilm.
Who, what?
3 more Star Wars movies.
Okay, sorry, what was it? Disney bought the rights? That's cool. That's awesome. Somebody other than George Lucas writing the script? I'm all for that.
I know, right?
Like, those are horrible! All the new ones that he wrote? Oh, what was that? I truly, deeply love you. It's like, oh! That was so bad! So I think it's only good. I want to see more Star Wars movies. I will watch them all until they like make so many bad ones that I'll just stop. So that's what I think. I think it's great. I had heard about that. Groving Grove says, is Jay going to continue creating content? Unfortunately not. Jay is no longer working for us. But we wish him the best. And you can still check out his channel. He puts videos there as well. And he's a commission painter as well, so you can hire him if you like. Alright. Mad Cow Crazy, for your Dark Potential, will army rules be free? How often will you update and balance the armies? You won't do the 10 to 12 years before any army gets an updates like GW does. You know, we're going to figure it out as we go along. Rules, for my intent is rules will always be free. You can buy the actual hard copy because nothing beats a hard copy on the back of your toilet. But they'll be free, and I'm hoping to update them often to keep the balance. So that kind of thing. But how often will I update things? I think I'll do it more like War Machine and Hordes, where if they come up with when we come up with a new, like the version 2 of the rules, that we would update all the armies at the same time, and that'll be coming out with miniatures for each army, kind of on a regular basis rather than huge releases. Games Workshop, their marketing definitely is spot on. I just know that a lot of people don't like that. So we'll see. I might change though. It all depends on what brings in the most revenue for the business. That's really what it comes down to. If I'm sacrificing a lot of revenue just to do it a different way, then that's not very wise. All right. Red Dragon 162. I enjoyed Enterprise. You have to watch the old shows to really appreciate it. See, I knew enough about the old shows, like the one episode where the Klingons, it kind of showed how they had not the ridges. You know, that's their way of kind of making an excuse. I appreciated all the tie-ins they did. I liked that. It was just poor acting, and they threw in like sexual stuff like every single episode, which was just like, that's not Star Trek. Star Trek is like the squeaky clean, family-friendly show for the most part. I know that they have their moments, but in Star Trek Enterprise, it's like every episode they have to show one of like the Vulcan or the other girl in their underwear or naked or whatever. So it's just kind of dumb. I know a lot of you will disagree, or maybe some of you, but that's the way I see it. Sabendaris, what kind of education do the people working at MiniWarGaming typically have? I don't know. They don't need education. They're just grunts, right, guys? Well, at least high school education, that's for sure. What do you got, Owen?
Business. I've gone to college for business administration anyway.
He's gone to college. Dan's currently in university. Mike is going to college for business stuff. He's about to in January. So we don't require college or university education because none of it really applies here. So, but you'll find a variety. 3266 Creed. Matt, what was the last thing you got from Games Workshop? A bill. Because we buy it from them like twice a week. That's the last thing I got. Okay, another question from the comments left on the video. Alright, let's just go ahead here. Okay. Oh, here's an interesting question. Sebster99, so I take it that there are restrictions for the content in your videos, am I correct? If I may say so, I think it was a rather silly idea to delete the Space Marine videos. Wargaming was already a violent concept to begin with. But anyways, are there restrictions? That's, it's a good concept, we can address that. Yes, there are restrictions. We try to keep it as family-friendly as possible, so we basically try to have no swearing. Sometimes something slips in from some of our players, but or some of our employees. But the general rule is no swearing. And even like the casual, like the lower level swearing, like your craps and your hex and your all that kind of stuff, we try to keep that to a minimum as well. Definitely try to have zero sexual references. And now, as you're talking about violence, wargaming is already a violent concept. You're right, it's a violent concept, but when you're playing a tabletop game with guys, you're rolling dice. You're not seeing their limbs get chopped off. You don't see blood and gore going everywhere. So there is a difference. And if you don't agree with that, then I'm sorry, I don't agree with you. When somebody talks about, this guy's going to shoot his bolter at this orc. Oh, I killed him. Remove him from the board. Not and explode head everywhere. There's a big difference between those two levels of violence. So the idea behind the wargaming is violent because they're all killing each other, but what you actually see and experience is very different. So yes, there are restrictions. We try to keep it family friendly. Let me just put it that way. Okay. All right, let's just grab another one here. Is there another question in here? All right. Here's one. White Yin. I don't see how companies can just say, can you do the job? Can you do it well? If yes, then hire them. Does it really matter if I have a degree in brain surgery? As long as the person can do the job and do it just as good as a qualified person, I don't see why they shouldn't get hired. The problem is when you're interviewing somebody, you don't know if they're actually any good. You have to go by statistics. And statistically speaking, when people have university and college degrees, they're usually harder workers. Not saying if you don't have a university and college degree, you're not a harder worker. It's kind of like insurance, car insurance. If you are male, your insurance typically is more expensive than females. That doesn't mean that you are a worse driver than females. In fact, you may be a better driver than most females. It's statistics. It's what happens generally is what you have to do. So when you're interviewing somebody and you're just going by what they say, then you have to kind of also look at if they have education, then that speaks something. If they have volunteer experience, that speaks something. Their past work experience. Do they have a job every 3 months? Well, that'll tell you something. And those kind of things too. So there is more to it than just that. All right. Max Darnett says, does Games Workshop ever do anything nice for their resellers, or is it all pure trading? It's mostly just pure trading. They provide prize support. They do a really good job with their shipping. Like when we order from them, we get stuff fast. It's good. They're good at that. It's more in their public front that they're not so good at that. All right. Spino James, RIP headphone users. Is that because I just started shouting? Sorry. Mad Cow Crazy, what about gameplay tutorials? Are those restricted? I've read about GW sending cease and desist letters to YouTube channels who made how to play 40k videos where they explain deployment, moving, shooting, and assault. I don't think they would do that. I doubt that that's true. But, unless there's more to the story. Like, for example, I won't give that example, but because it might sound bad. But no, there's nothing about that. We have how to play videos. I think we could put like a whole, as long as we're not like reading the rulebook out loud, but even that would technically be breaking copyright. Okay, Hammer T10, I much appreciate the family-friendly idea. Well, thank you. Yeah, you have to understand that it could be 12-year-olds watching or it could be 40-year-olds watching. And just, we don't want mothers to walk in and see their kids watching something and it's full of swearing and all that. Be like, sorry, you can't watch this. So, and also just because I don't want to. We have enough of that in society. It doesn't need any more. All right. Okay. Shredrig, Einstein wasn't doing well in school. Well, you can agree that Einstein wasn't typical. All right, Lithantheos 6. Will there be any official worldwide Dark Potential campaigns like the ones GW made in the good old days? Maybe. Can't really give any details of that because I don't have any. Just trying to get the models out. Okay. 5 of 9, they tell them how much they should sell for that is the same price they have on the website. I'm not sure what that was for. Okay. Fromagerie, have you ever seen or had anyone get into a fist fight over wargaming or at MiniWarGaming in general? I haven't, so I hope it never happens. That would be pretty sad, but I can see how it would happen because sometimes people just kind of lose their awareness of what is socially acceptable and when they get their tempers up and so, NemOK, as software developer, I've seen a lot of people with a long history which weren't able to program a hello world, but a lot of people who hadn't the qualifications were brilliant developers. I think it depends a lot on the job itself. Yeah, and those are all things that an employer has to kind of figure out. And then there's lots of ways to get around that too. Fishy Swass, your chainsword head exploding was a little feedbacky. Sorry. Todd A, even 43-year-olds. Yeah, it's great. I'm going to be 43 and still watching wargaming videos, that's for sure. Fangirl's asking if I ever watched Firefly. I never did. I heard it's good, but I never did. Okay, so here's a comment from our question. Liquid Metal. Hey Matt, been watching the videos on site for a while and recently became a Vault member. Awesome. I started up a Vampire Counts army and fully intend to come down from Montreal to challenge one or all of you to games at some point. Maybe we could get a big game going with all of us going against each other. Could be a lot of fun. Anyway, I just had a couple of questions I want to ask. I happen to notice in a couple of videos that you guys had the World of Warcraft adventure board game. I wonder if you guys ever played the full version of World of Warcraft board game, and if so, what you thought of it. We haven't, sorry. I also wondered, since I know a few of you guys play StarCraft, if any of you have ever played the StarCraft board game. If so, what did you think of it? Anybody play the StarCraft board game? Has everybody left? Is there nobody in there? There's nobody in here. I haven't, so I don't know about them. Finally, if you guys had enjoyed either of those games, do you think you'd ever release some videos for them? Now, as for whether we do videos, I can answer that, and the answer would be no, unless we're selling them, because, you know, time is money. We gotta focus videos on what we're selling. Either way, carrying on with the wargaming, and hopefully I'll be able to come down and challenge you guys soon. Ultra Corn Dog. Matt, Australia is just as good as New Zealand, but ask anyone, we are better. Australia, wow. WoW or World of Warcraft? Deathcore Commissar. I'm starting a Menoth army, so what do you think is the most annoying effective unit they have? Also, ever thought of doing War Machine history like you have done with the Warhammer 40k? I don't know. The most annoying one is when there's a whole unit of guys that throw grenades, because it takes forever because they each have to do their AoE and they're deviating. Not that that's the most effective.
The book is the most annoying one. Can only ever take 1 point of damage.
Who?
The book.
The book?
The big, it's on a large base, but counts as a small base.
So large base counts as a small base. The book?
Can give out continuous fire to any unit or model.
Okay.
Can make everyone within 10 inches not immune to knockdown and stationary. And can make it so you can't cast spells in that area as well.
Wow. And it only takes 1 point of damage at max?
And it has 5 boxes.
So you have to hurt it 5 times?
Yeah. And then you stand a little Hierophant next to it and heal it D3.
That sucks. Yeah, Menoth are just annoying. Not as annoying as trolls, though. And what about War Machine history? Well, we haven't thought about it, no. We haven't really thought about doing the history videos. Okay, so. Sabandarus, who usually takes the initiative to create videos? What do you mean by that question? Because everybody's supposed to make videos. So repost the question with clarification. Then I did not read the Dune novels. Mad Cow Crazy. Wow, I'm answering a lot of your questions. Guess you'd post the long ones, so it's easier to see them. How do you know when you have a wargaming addiction? I have about $10,000 worth of GW products, probably at that point. 3266 Creed. Dark Potential, how many army? Say hello to the cooler. How many armies? Well, we have plans for 6, and we've got 3 that we're releasing right away. I think that's what your question is, right? 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 Any other questions here? Okay, go to another question down here from Tom the Tyrannid. Wow, it's already 4 o'clock. Alright, we won't go for much longer. Hi Matt, I found what you said about Tyrannids being buffed and nerfed interesting, but I have to disagree. While Rage is a great bonus, you have got a terrible leadership on those models, so if they lose combat, they on average will just run off the board. Also, if you infer that Tyrannids have some Skyfire, what are you referring to? That's Hive Tyrants with wings. As far as I'm aware, Tyrannids can't man gun emplacements, nope, and therefore have no Skyfire. If I'm wrong, please tell me that I can get something that allows me to Skyfire. Well, there's 2 ways you can get Skyfire. There's Hive Tyrants. If you get a Hive Tyrant with wings and 2 sets of twin-linked Devourers, you've got 12 Strength 6 shots that are twin-linked. That's pretty awesome. Most flyers will be taken down by 1 volley of that. As for the other way you can get Skyfire is if you're playing objectives, and they're mysterious objectives, and it happens to be a Skyfire Nexus. And that's obviously not something you can count on. So those are 2 ways you get Skyfire. Unfortunately, that's it. But Hive Tyrant is the way to go. Other than that, you're right. Tyranids struggle anti-air, but then most people do. All right. Fishy Swass, what is it that makes you able to man an emplacement? Anybody can. Tyranids actually have a specific rule that says they can't. So basically, you just have to have a ballistic skill, and you have to be able to shoot. So you stand next to it, and then you shoot it instead of your gun. It's pretty straightforward that way. All right. Howling Wolf, hi Matt, can you make another playtest bat wrap with the Reclaimers? We'll definitely be doing that. I know now how the others work, but I'm curious on the Reclaimers. I don't even know how they work. I haven't playtested them yet. I really, really like the long, not much edited videos. Maybe a dual way to publish, both as edited and not edited. Saves time editing and more to watch. We'll probably do both, because some people like the one, some people like the other. Okay, that's been fixed. That's been fixed. That's been fixed. All right, so let's see if there's any more comments from the live audience. White Yin. I notice Mondays are slow days for you, company in general, which is a shame. Mondays are bad enough as it is. Plus, should Twitch really be showing shows not yet posted? I don't want rid of them. I'm just wondering. Mondays are slow because that's the least amount, or that's the day that we get the least amount of traffic to our site. So we're obviously not going to be doing tons of stuff on Mondays. So sorry. Spino James, Matthew, would you like something like an Infestor from StarCraft 2 for NIDS and Warhammer 40k? Also, what are your thoughts on StarCraft 2 Heart of the Swarm? Infestor, you kind of have something like that. You've got your Turbogon, because the Infestor can spawn infested Terrans, the Turbogon can spawn Termagants. The Infestor can do that fungal growth thing, but that's not really something you could have in this game. It can mind control, but that would be overpowered, because somebody would find some way to abuse that. So no, I don't think it's necessary. What are my thoughts on Heart of the Swarm? Looks great. I'm looking forward to it coming out, which will probably be soon because it's in beta. But I'm looking forward to the single player. But the units in the multiplayer look pretty cool. Still a little imbalanced, but that's normal in beta. Alright. I have somebody here. Cree says, thanks Matt, yes it was. Did you see Hiveguard Skyfire roll? I didn't. Hiveguard don't have Skyfire. Not that I know of. Well, this is the FAQ and I missed it. Okay. Would you be able to do Tactica for Space Marines? Probably some Blood Angels one soon. No, we don't have any Necron battle reports coming up soon. What do I prefer as fast attack? Wraiths or Destroyers? Definitely Wraiths. They're better in all ways. Bloody Gamers, wow, your picture looks so clear today. Are you using an HD camera? We were always using an HD camera, but now we're using better software to stream. So, Zinch has mind control stuff. I know, and Chaos is kind of annoying when they get to do stuff like that. Wonder Pork, favorite and least favorite army. Favorite, Tyranids. Least favorite, if you're talking 40k, Grey Knights. Okay, whoa. March 23rd is when StarCraft 2 Heart of the Swarm comes out. Oh, sweet, I didn't know they had a date. Alright. Fromagerie, why are there so few Apocalypse battle reports? Because they take a long time to make. And we don't have any really good way to make them too, because they would just be long and not very well edited. Nasty M42, do you ship Dark Potential models to the UK? The answer is yes. Any order over $100 is free worldwide shipping. It has to be $100 of Dark Potential miniatures. Free worldwide shipping. No matter where you are in the world, you order at least $100 worth of models, you get free worldwide shipping. Miso, what is the tone of Dark Potential? I get the history concept, but is it meant to be zany, grim dark? Have you got any characters invented yet? Is there storylines to flesh out the universe? I find, like Gaunt's, Ghost, etc. Don't have any characters yet. That's something that we need to add. I would say it's not grim dark. It's hopeful, but I don't know. It's. I guess if I were to describe it in like keywords, I'd say it's striving for realism. You know, as much as that's possible in sci-fi, because you got aliens and you got robots that are running around and stuff. Obviously, it's not totally realistic. There's no zombies and mutants and stuff. Like, the virus kills, it doesn't turn you into a super powerful zombie. So strives for realism. It's not grim dark, because humanity is not all of a sudden going to turn to prostitution and drugs just because the government's no longer there. So they're banding together. You're going to have bad humans and good humans, bad Xlanthos and good Xlanthos, bad salvagers, good salvagers, bad... each thing will have a good and a bad. So it's not like 40k where it doesn't matter if you win or lose because everybody dies. It's not like that. And if you could win this huge war, but it doesn't matter because the galaxy is so big that your contribution is going to be minimal. No, it's better than that. So hopefully that kind of hopefully that answers it. Okay. Nasty M, but if I'm under $100, you still ship, but with the cost? Yeah, we definitely ship worldwide. It's just, I think under $100 you'd be paying like $25 of shipping, because that's how much it costs us. So you might as well just spend the extra money and get free shipping. Okay. You know what? I'm going to finish really soon, but I'm going to show you maybe some more concept art. I know we're really far in, so we won't have as many people on. Or maybe we do. Wow, 126 people. So a lot of people are still on. Whoa, crap. Did I lose the connection? What was that? Are we still live? Because the power just flickered. Hold on. Are we still live? Yeah, we are. Okay, we're good. We're good. Well, everything flickered. Even my computer screen flickered, so I thought that would be enough to trip the connection. But it was not, which is awesome. I'm live. Okay, I know you see me. I see me. All right. Got it. All right, so let's add another image. Let's see. What other concept art do I have? Would you rather see more Reclaimers, Lanthos, or Corporation? I think there's no new Corporation, so it's Lanthos or Reclaimer new concept art. Tell me what you want. Wish I could do little polls and stuff on this. Lanthos, 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 Lanthos. Okay. We have somebody asking, what about vehicles? Any planned? There is planned to be vehicles, but not until we start doing things not in in Pewter. So that'll be later. Okay, so it's Lanthos. Lanthos it is. Let's see what I got. Let's see what I got. Rose, Lanthos. Okay, we've got the Infector. We've got some concepts for him. We've got the Shock Troop concepts. Actually, we've got the Shock Troop models done and the Infector model done, but I don't think I have it handy. No, okay. It's just not in production yet because we're just trying to get these other ones out. So let's show you the Infector. Now, this one, the concept does not 100% accurately show you what the model's going to look like because I gave the sculptor a bit of creative freedom because there's, things that have to be changed in order for it to work. So let me switch over here and let's drop that out and let's bring that in. Let's see what happens. Does that work? Does that work? Come on. Maybe there? Okay, I gotta do a different way. Sorry, black screen. It's supposed to be black. Nobody panic. Don't panic. Don't panic. Okay. Why are you not showing? Strange. It's not showing it. Come on. Add. Okay, I don't know why it's not showing. It's a good thing I'm using this awesome new technology, right? Come on. What about you? Okay. Add media. I don't know why it's not working. It usually works. What if I add it to this one? Sorry, people. I'm still learning a new software. Huh. It's really strange. Usually I just right-click. Let's delete. Yes, it's supposed to be going black sometimes, so don't worry. I don't know why it's not letting me add. Sorry. Can't show it. Really can't. That's too bad. Sorry, people. Okay, maybe next time. Maybe I'll do a special show that just for Dark Potential, a live show for Dark Potential where I can answer questions. The computer, you got wrong. Print it out and show it. Hey, that's not nice. Get your hopes up and then just dash them. What a jerk. I tried to. Hand draw and show it. Okay, alright. Let's hand draw it. Alright, let's see. Lanthos Infector. Okay, hand drawn. So, let's see. And you're going to find out very soon why I am not the concept artist for the game. Because my drawing is not very good. But, what the heck. Okay, and there you go, and other arm, and there we go. So let's see, there's the Infector. Okay, the model is based solely on this concept art. What do you think? 5 stars? Here we go, here we go. That's pretty good, eh? Worthy of my French. The concept lines, awesome. Oh, I was expecting a stick figure. It is a, well, I guess not a stick figure. It's a proton silhouette with a squig eating his arm. Oh no, it doesn't look anything like the thing, but whatever. Angle of the gun is a little low. Alright, I hope you're not being serious. Because, you know... Anyway. This is why I only show you good concept art. Because now you're going to take me seriously. Why does it have a high heel? It doesn't have a high heel! I didn't draw it wrong, alright? Okay, forget it. You're never seeing me draw a concept art again. Oh, jeez. Okay, moving on. Sign it and put it on eBay. That'd be kind of funny if that actually sold for something. Fishy spots. eBay that picture, Matt? Seriously? But I can't, because on the other side of the picture is comments. So, you know, you'd be actually getting people's comments as well. Which I guess is they're public, so I guess I could. I'd buy it. Now you're making me like, making me think it. Maybe I will, so let's see what I do. That's why you draw in pencil. Anyway, I'm going to end here. It's 4:15. It's been over an hour. It's been fun. There's been a lot of people on here trying lots of things. No, leaving lots of comments, so I do appreciate that. I'll do 50s. Okay, now people are... You're making me actually consider putting it on eBay. What if I put it on eBay without a picture? Like I just went on right now and put it on eBay, no picture. So, because if I have to take a picture, that's going to be like more effort. So, anyways, how long till the next show? Well, Dave will be doing one at 9 o'clock Eastern. That's a little less than 5 hours from now. For me, I don't know. I want to do them weekly, but with my schedule, it's hard to decide on the time I should do it. So, we'll see. Anyways, thank you very much for your comments, for your feedback. Of course, if you're watching the recording of this, feel free to leave a comment. Obviously, I don't answer as many comments as I used to. I do more live ones as well, so I know that'll disappoint some people, but it's kind of fun to do these live anyways. So, you should sing before you go. What should I sing? Oh, it has to be signed. I gotta sign this. Okay, let's make this. There. Happy? Now it's worth something. Milkman song, don't know it. Lady Gaga, don't know any of her songs. Sail Away, don't know it. Pink, don't know it. Yeah, I know the cap went flying, alright? I'll pick it up after. I'm a teacup. And row, row your boat. Okay. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Anybody want to join in and do it as a round? Dan.
What?
Oh, are you doing a game?
Yes.
Come here for a second. Gangnam style? No. No, definitely not. Oh, we're getting everybody on the chat helping. You know, row, row, row your boat. Okay? We're going to do it as a round. I'll start. Don't laugh. Just be ready. Okay? Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 gently down the stream. Well, for those of you that stayed all the way to the end, that is a treat that nobody else gets. Oh, okay. I gotta sign off here before we get any goofier, because I got a battle report I gotta finish editing. It's a War Machine 1, where I played against trolls again. Okay, you will kill all your fans this way. Great. So, thank you very much for participating. Stop looking at the chat because it stopped me from ending this broadcast. There we go. No more chat. Come on. Thank you for participating. If you're watching the recording or you want me to possibly answer a question later on, post a comment in the recording below. Happy wargaming. Now let's see if I can turn this off properly.